she released a tweet about 37 minutes ago. It stated the WNBA and WBPA have reached an agreement on a moratorium for league business. Sources tell ESPN this is necessary because the sides had failed to reach an agreement on a CBA agreement or an extension by the January.
That confusion you just heard is exactly what every WNBA fan is feeling right now. January 9th came and went. The CBA deadline passed, and instead of getting clarity about whether there will even be a 2026 season, the league introduced a word most people had to Google: moratorium. Ramona Shelburne broke the news on January 13th at 11 p.m. Eastern, and the reaction was immediate, leaving fans everywhere asking the same question: what does this actually mean?
Because I need more clarity on this agreement, man. So I'm going to go to Google and look and see exactly what this means. So a moratorium is a temporary authorized suspension of an activity or legal obligation like halting debt payments, construction, or certain laws to provide a pause for review, reconstruction, or to address an urgent issue. The common types including financial debt relief, building, development, and...
So here's what a moratorium actually means in sports terms. It's a temporary freeze on league business while both sides continue negotiating, essentially hitting pause on things like free agency, qualifying offers, and core designations. The NBA uses moratoriums regularly during its CBA negotiations, but there's a critical difference. The NBA typically announces a moratorium when a deal is close, and only a few final details need to be settled. The WNBA, on the other hand, used one because it misses deadline entirely and still has no agreement in sight.
In the 26th season, I do want to be clear there. I believe they reached an agreement to base this, just a proper word, to continue negotiations, if I'm reading this correctly. So as of right now, it's still basically they still don't have a WNBA CBA agreement. Now, Alexa Philippou retweeted this as well. This is a very interesting story, man. We have been dealing with this for the last...
And that's the part that should concern everyone. Qualifying offers were supposed to go out on January 11th. Free agency was scheduled to begin, and teams needed to make their core designation decisions. Instead, everything is now frozen in place with no end date other than when a new CBA is finally ratified. The Players' Union initially pushed back on the league's first moratorium proposal because it reportedly contained what sources described as unnecessary language beyond simply delaying free agency, and they demanded that language be removed before agreeing to accept it.
Free agents until there was a new CBA agreement. So I'm wondering if the Players is doing this to stop free agency. That's what this tweet is saying. You know, somebody else said this is actually bad news for fans and coaches. Coaches will have to implement complex systems in a condensed offseason with very little time for players' development and chemistry building, which will hurt the product on the court. Now, sign replacement players. So
notice what's really happening here. The moratorium only applies to free agency transactions, while everything else in the current CBA remains in place under what both sides keep calling the status quo. That phrase has been repeated constantly over the past week. Status quo, which is essentially corporate speak for being stuck and not knowing how to move forward. Meanwhile, coaches are staring at empty rosters, wondering how they're supposed to build teams, implement systems, or develop any chemistry if free agency doesn't begin until March or even April.
Man, because at the end of the day, fans and players need clarity. And it seemed like none of y'all know what the hell y'all doing. And we just sitting here now. Now we're just sitting here day in and day out. Y'all keep, once again, donkey in a carrot, bruh. It's looking very donkey in a carrot-ish. I just got to be honest here with you guys. Let me see what Annie Constable said. Maybe Annie Constable might.
Here's what makes this situation especially messy. Right now, only 2 players who are not on rookie contracts are signed through 2026 outside of the moratorium: Lexi Brown and Kelani Brown. Everyone else's contract status is completely uncertain. Teams can't send qualifying offers to restricted free agents. They can't use core designations, which function like the NFL's franchise tag, and they can't negotiate new deals at all. The entire offseason is effectively frozen, and the longer this drags on, the more compressed the preparation time becomes for the 2026 season, assuming we even get one.
WNBA and Union agreed to freeze free agency as CBA talks drag on, man. So WNBA players and owners have agreed to a mutual freezing free agency. A source familiar with the negotiation told for Sports Monday evening. As the sides continue to negotiate a new collective bargain, the league's initial motion was made roughly at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, the union felt it contained unnecessary.
But let's dig into why they're actually stuck. The January 9th deadline wasn't arbitrary. It was written into the existing CBA as a date when either side could opt out and trigger renegotiations. The players exercised that option back in 2024, pointing to the massive revenue growth the league experienced after Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Attendance records were shattered, television ratings tripled, and new media deals worth hundreds of millions were signed. Based on that surge, the players made it clear they wanted their fair share of the growth before committing to additional years under the old agreement.
Offers of core destination signing and all negotiation. The motion will end when a new collective bargaining agreement is rectified. So as of right now, they're using big words telling us it still ain't no damn 2026 season. Now, the glitch in the system is the results from January 9th when the deadline paused and they did not reach a CBA agreement. Now, typically during free agent period, qualifying offers including core destination, similar to the NFL franchise tag, could begin being sent out on.
The owners, meanwhile, are in a complicated position. Yes, revenue is up, but they're also in the middle of expansion negotiations with new cities and finalizing a major media rights deal. At the same time, they're trying to determine how much of this growth is truly sustainable versus a one-year spike, while looking at financials that show most WNBA teams still operate at a loss and are subsidized by their NBA parent organizations. So when players push for significantly higher salary caps and better revenue sharing, the owners are responding by asking to see that this growth continues for at least another year before committing
of their rookie skill deal. So as of right now, man, they stopping any talks with free agency. Now, Lexi Brown and Kalani Brown are the only players not on rookie contracts signed through 2026. Outside of this mutual free agent deal, the conditions of the current CBA will remain in place as both sides continue negotiation. In this period of status quo, which I'm so tired of hearing about the status quo thing, because we're not I don't know what the hell they doing, man, but this is ugly because we constantly hearing about the status quo thing. We already talked about the status quo time after time again.
And that's the fundamental tension. Players believe they've already proven the league's value and deserve immediate compensation increases, while owners want more data before committing to financial structures they may not be able to sustain. Neither side is necessarily wrong, but they're also not finding common ground, which brings us to the real question. What happens if they can't reach an agreement in the next few weeks?